Okay, so after half of season one and 17 episodes of season two, Macy finally told Harry that she wants him. So, of course, he has freaking amnesia. Hi, guys. My name is Maria Park, and this is Approach the Nerd. And in this episode, we are reviewing Charmed Season 2, Episode 17, entitled Search Party. Guys. Guys. We had such a high with episode 15, kind of mellow in 16. 17's not a bad episode. The girls still were with each other, not a majority of the time, but off and on throughout the episode, like real siblings. I mean, you gotta give each other space. So, I'm okay with what they're doing technically right now. I will say this, though. The power of three in OG Charm seemed to be this, all-encompassing power that when the sisters were together, they were formidable, unstoppable, and, just basically was the main constant in their lives. They would go so far as to say the power of three will set us free. And I think that's very true in this one, because the power of three actually sets them free from using it continuously in the series. Like, they use it, and then it's like they have to put it on charge and then go back to it later. So I'm like, I don't know, guys. But, whatever. No power of three this week again. We had it in episode 15. We have not had it since. Hopefully we will have it again. But yeah, we're not seeing them use their new, acquired awesome power. But whatever. So into the episode. So, last week Harry was kidnapped. And we learned a lot about Julian's past. I kind of was a little justified in my theory that Julian knew about what was going on with the magical scientist, aka Shea Group, the faction basically. He knows what's happening because he's approached by Macy, who at the beginning of the episode was going to break up with him, give him back the necklace because, she wants Harry. Sisters gave her a pep talk, yada, yada, yada. Well, Jordan contacts Maggie and says, hey, come pick me up. Where are you? I'm in Utah. And basically from that 10-second, conversation, she already knows that we're in trouble because Harry's missing. Because, of course, if Jordan's calling them for a ride home, Harry's in trouble. So they reach out to Macy because Maggie's able to have a vision. And the vision is, no, I'm sorry. That's not true. Maggie doesn't have a vision yet. Chuchi, I think his name is Chuchi. It's such a weird name. Ray, Vera's friend, who helps him out by doing illegal, computer work for them and tracking. He's able to get the license plate of the car that Jordan memorized at the end of the last episode. And they track it to the Shea Group, which is Julian's company. So of course, Maggie calls Macy and tells her, don't react. But we think your boy's into the magical faction, power stealing, hybrid making business, that we're all not happy with. So she is in the office with Julian, and Julian had just reminded her of a charity event that evening that she had forgotten about, that he was sending a car to pick her up. So she goes back, they get Jordan back. She goes back to the house, which is kind of cool because Jordan is team Charmed right now. It's like their little Scooby-Doo gang. He's helping them out with ideas, helping Maggie figure out how to use both Harry and Julian's objects together to force a vision, where she sees that they have a lab in the basement of the Shea building, where the door, I think, said S3. And it's I just love how instrumental Jordan was. Jordan wasn't just sitting back, just doing nothing. He was helping the gang. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, so they're trying to find Harry. And now Macy is very suspicious of Julian. And they have to come up with a plan to get him. And, they're like, how can we, and this seems to be a line they do a lot in the show. It's how can we infiltrate this or this very highly secure, location? It's just you say this all the time. But of course, Macy has an invitation to the charity event. So of course she brings Maggie and invites Jordan along with her, while Mel decides she needs help from Abigail. And guys, in this episode, Abigail and Mel had even more chemistry and a connection than they did in the previous episode. So now I am absolutely certain of what I said last week. They're trying to hook up Mel and Abigail together. And I'll go into that a little bit more in a minute. But so they need to get Abigail first to bring her mother's book because there's a spell that Mel needs. There's like a voice mimicking potion that she wants to make so they can clone Julian's voice to get access to wherever it was Maggie saw in the vision. So Abigail does come through, but she brings all of her luggage with her because the demons have taken over her apartment. And so she has nowhere to go. Now, what irritated me was the sisters were a-holes to Abigail from the moment she walked in. And I'm like, when Abigail first came on the scene, she annoyed me a lot. There are moments where I consider her to be trash because she does do things that are questionable and honestly evil. But she really has done nothing but help the sisters. And if you really think about it, if you look at the timeline, she's done more good than bad for them, even going so far as to saving them on multiple occasions, and Harry. And all they do is say, "Oh, here comes Abigail, coming in our house." It was like, what? What would they do if Abby just stopped fucking helping them? Excuse my French. It's just like, I feel bad for her now. It's like she can't ever enter their space without having an ulterior motive, even when she doesn't have an ulterior motive. There have been more people in their lives that have been no good and have done backhanded things to them than Abigail, who's half demon. And that's just very weird to me. But I digress. But she basically ends up helping Mel not only make the mimicking potion, she gives them these purses where there's two of them, they're identical purses. You throw a potion in one and what you need pops out of the other one. So Macy takes one purse and they keep the other one back at the house. And they did split up. They had, of course, Macy and Maggie went to the party or the charity event with Jordan while Mel and Abigail were mixing potions. And they had like a little heart to heart where Mel's like, well, why can't you be good? Why didn't you go to your mother's side? And then we learned from Abigail that her mother was no good. She pretty much was so ashamed of the demon side of her that she made her feel like she was deficient, basically. So she has a lot of issues with her mother and her father, who tried to kill her. So yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. So yeah, the whole thing with Mel and Abigail gets a little bit more interesting when they have to go back to Abigail's house to find the magic tracking device. The reason they needed this is while they were at the charity event, they were able to mimic Julian's voice by Macy kissing him. Because once you drink the potion, you have to kiss the person whose voice you want to steal. So she does do that while, Vivian is at the table mingling. Her Jordan and Vivian, his Aunt Vivian, are talking to them. She excuses herself to go to the bathroom after she kisses him and gets his voice and goes into the elevator because he has a voice-activated elevator in the building. And it takes him down to the basement level, which is why Julian has to know about it, because how the heck would he have access to get down there? So basically, yes, they, first Macy gets down there. She can't open any of the doors. And plus there are too many doors. So she can't tell which door Harry is in. Hence why they need the magical device or the magical tracking device that Abigail used in the earlier part of the season. So they're trying to go back to her apartment to get it. And it's really funny because they get there and they find Abigail's party is just it looks like a frat boy, party gone wild. And there's crap everywhere. And a bunch of them, the vagrant demons we saw, which are the poor homeless scavenger type demons, or scavenger demons, are just pretty much taking over her place. And so they're looking around for this device, and it was in the drawer, but it's in the kitchen, but it's not there. So they're just tearing the place up. They managed to find it under the couch, but the demons that weren't at the apartment when they got there came back. So Abigail and Mel have to go hide in another room, where they start having the following conversation. Mel basically says, we could have gone back to the command center and pretty much, teleported here. But instead we had to take an Uber because, because for some reason Abigail, preferred to take the Uber because it was more convenient. And then, of course, Mel's like, well, now we don't have a shiny, marble. And then Mel says, but you can always, pretty much teleport or phase out of here. And Abigail says, and leave you behind, don't tempt me. But she doesn't leave her behind. Just like in the last episode, she went back for Mel and saved her when she could have just escaped. So that's why I'm saying not only is she catering more to her witch good side, she is also bonding more with Mel. And there seems to be like an attraction there. So I do think that Abby and Mel are going to be the Phoebe and Cole of this series. Like I said last week, I just do. I'm actually rooting for them harder than I am Hasty right now, and I'm going to get to that again in a second. Okay, so back to Julian. So Julian and Macy have this heart-to-heart because he catches her coming up from the elevator. So, of course, she pretends to have like these cluster migraines. She passed out. That's what she says, the reason she passed out in the elevator when he asked, what were you doing? So she's up in the penthouse with him. And he first asked her how she got downstairs. Because again, it's voice activated. How did the elevator work for you? And she's like, oh, it's all a blur because of her migraines. But she changes the subject saying, and what were those test rooms downstairs? So then we finally get this story from Julian about his past, what really happened with the crash. His parents did crash the car, but he wasn't the only child inside. He has a sister named Rosemary. And she got launched out of the back of the car. And when he was looking out at the window, because he was trapped in the car, a man teleported in. He went over to the two women in the other car that were involved in the accident, and he basically heals them with white light. Hence, the guy was a white lighter, and he teleports the two women away because obviously they were witches. But he leaves the sister there. Now, they never say, because Julian's story gets interrupted by his assistant saying it's time for him to go make a speech. He never said his sister was dead, and I don't think that she's dead because I think that Peyton, the actress Peyton, I wasn't sure her last name is Liz, but she one that plays Narissa in Picard, who was in the Tomorrow People and a bunch of other shows. Lucy in the original Smallville, if you watch that. Her actors who we saw walk off with Harry in the last episode and kissed him thinking it was Jimmy, I think that's Rosemary. That's what I think. I think that's his sister. Because he never said that his sister died. So Julian said he basically wanted to know what that guy was, hence the white lighter. So he devoted his entire life to figuring it out. Hence, magical creature scientist. Because they can't do what they do without somebody extremely smart leading them. Vivian may be smart business-wise, but she's not a genius like Julian and Macy are. So, of course, Julian is the brains behind the organization. And whether he's evil or not, whether she has, she may have, more like dark motives than he does, but he still knows what's going on, because he saw it firsthand and it made him the scientist in him, the genius in him, the person that needed to understand, needs to figure out how to get that power and replicate it. Now, he could be even darker than Vivian. We don't know. His story was stopped. We don't know what he would have said. He could have been giving his grand mastermind plan that just would have sounded like he was off the deep end. So, not ruling that out. I still think that Julian's a lot more involved than people want to believe. So, but yeah, so Julian is definitely part of faction, or if not the leader of faction, because I think he is. So yeah. Then we have the whole rescue mission between, it was basically, they need to get back downstairs because they overhear Vivian telling one of the investors in the faction that they basically want to have results. So she's going to give them a demonstration after she does her speech after Julian. So they have to get back downstairs. But the mimicking potion only lasts 10 minutes. So Macy doesn't have Julian's voice anymore. And he is currently on stage giving a speech. So that meant that somebody had to get somebody's access. And the only other person that they could get was Vivian's, because Maggie recognized the bracelet she was wearing in the vision as the person putting the code in on the pad downstairs. So that's how they know Vivian's involved. But to kiss her is to get her voice. So they basically look to Julian, to Jordan, and poor Jordan. Poor Jordan. He's like, really? So they're trying to convince him to kiss her, take the potion and go kiss her. But he, Macy says something like, it just needs to be a saliva transfer. And that gives him the idea. He goes and flirts with Vivian because Vivian was kind of flirting with him in the party earlier. and right before her speech, and he takes her glass, he's like, I'll hold this for you. And where her lip imprint was, her lipstick imprint, is he drinks from that, exchanging saliva. Ugh. And then he has her voice. So he's able to use her voice to get downstairs to the elevator. Well, they get down there and they're able to, through Maggie's vision, use the pin code to get into the room that Harry actually happens to be in, along with a banshee and another demon. And then Macy is trying to open the containers that they're in, the tubes, but she ends up starting the process that Vivian was about to demo to the investors. And that's basically transferring the magic into the corpse they have on the table. So it kills the demon and the banshee. And it's draining Harry, and she manages to use her telekinesis to launch the pod through the portal that they create with the marble. And she texts Maggie texts Mel saying, catch. And Mel's like, I wonder what that means. And as the portal opens, here comes the tube with Harry flying through it, and Abigail catches it and saves her and Mel. I like them together now. I just do. I think they're a very cute couple. But long story short, Harry is alive. Macy gets him out of the tube. And then we see her later doing a speech, basically telling how she was alone when she was little. And, she had to protect herself. And she built titanium walls. And then she says, you didn't just knock down my walls, you melted them. And he's just, the whole time, he's looking very weird. And he's looking like that, I'm looking at the screen like, don't do it. Don't you do it. And then she says, I want you, Harry. And then she says, that's it. And he said, that's a lovely speech and you're a beautiful woman, but who are you? And I'm like, here we go. Here we go. Oh, I just wanted to strangle them in the screen. Why? I'm like, so my spouse made a comment earlier, and OG Charmed, Leo and Piper went through so many trials and so many tribulations to be together. The elders did not want them to be together at all. So there were so many roadblocks put by them that kept them apart. It was torturous. It was heartbreaking. It was sad. They even decided to split up a few times, but they eventually got married, got back together, had children, and lived happily ever after by the end of the series. But they were not, Leo and Piper were not the issue that kept them apart, basically. They were not the overwhelming odds that the elders placed on them. Macy and Harry, they are their own worst enemies. They are what's forbidden about their relationship. They forbid each other from being together. So it's like, there are no elders to hold you back. There's no disapproving parents. There's no, past history. Macy has only been with two other people. One's dead and the other one's probably running an evil, organization. So there's no baggage. Harry's women are all aged or dead. So, there's no issue holding them back. The sisters love Harry. Macy's father is not alive, so it's not like he needs approval from him. The only thing keeping them apart is each other, and it is annoying. It's annoying. Like I was really hoping, and I know we only have 2 episodes left because of the COVID virus and episode 20 being cut short, that we have to wait to season 3 to get resolution. But I was hoping that by this point we would have had something starting, or, because when you start the relationship, then you have to learn more about each other and you have to navigate the relationship. We haven't even gotten to the starting the relationship part because every time they get close, something happens and they go bloop in the other direction. It's either, oh, Harry is not really Harry, it's Jimmy, or, oh, I don't really love you because I'm insecure, or, oh, I can't be with you because that would be weird, you're my white lighter, or, oh, we can't be together together because, well, I need to spend time finding myself, and I think you need to find yourself, and maybe my feelings for you are real, but I really need to figure out if that's what's happening, to, oh, I just met this rich guy who like wants to take me out, skiing and, and Colorado and Aspen, and, you seem to be into Abigail, so I'm just going to go leave you, to, oh, I want you, and yeah, who are you? Guys. guys. And then to add on to the frustration is Maggie and Jordan. Because I don't know what is happening with these two. They are into each other, but they are taking it so slow that I don't even know if they know they're into each other for most of the episode. Maggie did get a little envious because of all the accomplishments and career, goals that Jordan has, being in the military, being a combat, medic, going to law school, running his own business, and being so young. Well, she doesn't have anything. She's just she's a charm one. She did lie her way by spell into a manager position at Safe Space. But what else does she have, really? So I get it. And she kind of wants to find a life, but, it's almost like, the thing we saw in OG Charm with Paige, because remember, Paige started out as a social worker, then she quit that job and ended up being a temp because she wasn't finding fulfillment, and then quit being a temp to running magic school, and then stopped doing that to being a full-time white lighter who helps witches and a charmed one. And it's and even Phoebe had a long road of trying to figure out what she wanted to do before she became, when they got her psychology degree and became a columnist. They all go through these life challenges, but Maggie's only 19 or 20 years old, if that. She may be a little bit older. I don't know. I have to go. She was in college, 19. I want to say she could be, I think she's 21 now. But she's still extremely young. She has her entire life ahead of her. So she's having a little bit of a midlife crisis this early on. So that's kind of cute. But it is natural. A lot of people think about their futures. But I just thought that was interesting that she was getting envious about Jordan. Just hearing all his accomplishments listed out made her insecure. So. But yeah, overall, this was not a bad episode. It was a frustrating episode. It was very, very frustrating. Even to Abby. Abby was moving in with them, and then Mel comes and tells Maggie at the end of the episode that, Abigail's bags are gone. And Maggie was almost like, you seem disappointed. And Mel's like, yeah, I thought maybe we would have rubbed up on her, for the good, for her spending time with us. But that is not what she meant. That's not what she meant. She wanted to spend time with Abigail, and I still think she is going to. But yeah, it's just these relationships in the show are so dysfunctional right now. It's ridiculous. And I just want them to use the power of three. I really feel like a lot of the stuff they went through tonight could have been resolved if they just busted in their charm style and just taking it down, just KO everything. But that's just my opinion. And then my last question though is, where is Swan? Because Swan is the mastermind of evil in my mind. So where is Swan? She has not been around in 4 episodes now? Swan is gone, guys. Swan got fired. Or she's back where the other evil minions are. Maybe they're having a meeting. I don't know. But there's no Swan, and I don't know why. And when does Maggie go to work? I really need to figure that out in my mind, because she's the only one with a full-time job right now, supporting them and causing them, or enabling her sisters to eat. So, and pay for alcohol, which they drink a lot of, and coffee. So if she's the only one making money, when is she going to work? That's a question that I have, because she seems to be able to just leave whenever she wants and not really keep regular hours. And I'm not able to do that even working from home during a pandemic. So I'm just curious how she's pulling that off. But yeah, that's another question, guys, for another day. But other than that, enjoyed the episode. Still frustrated as heck about Hasty. High hopes for Mel and Abby. Kind of high hopes for for Mel and Abby. High hopes for Maggie and Jordan. And high hopes that Jordan and the rest of Julian and the rest of the faction are exposed and the magical world is saved. But probably not by episode 19. But that is just my opinion, guys. I want to know what you guys think. So please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the Nerd Ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.